2 years ago, I took an 18-hour flight from Brazil all the way to Azerbaijan to attend the 29th UN Conference on Climate Change, or COP29 as it's better known. That year, that hot topic was climate finance. The parties had the mission to update the old $100 billion target for supporting developing countries in their climate actions. According to calculations done by UN Trade and Development, the number couldn't be any less than $1 trillion. The countless stories of mourning and displacement that echoed in the rooms every day just confirmed that anything less than that would mean the death of peoples and ecosystems. Well, after the 2 weeks, a decision was released, setting the new target at $300 billion. 3 times less the minimum amount necessary. I felt crushed. But what kept me going and what brings me here today was not the negotiations themselves, but something else entirely. You see, in the UN climate system, the countries are broadly divided into 2 categories. You have the developed countries and the developing countries. When I first learned about this division, my brain pictured a timeline. Even though we were all together in the same room at the same time, some of us seemed far ahead in the future, while the majority of us were stuck in the past, fighting to grow our GDP, to expand our resources, to trade more. But for many developing countries, like my own country of Brazil, that path is paved by environmental destruction. Agribusiness, oil fracking, mining, it just didn't feel right. If development means the extraction of peoples and territories, I don't want it. When I stepped out of my bubble, I soon realized that my thoughts and feelings were not original, by far. The indigenous and traditional peoples in Brazil have been showing us this truth, not just in words, but in the way that they live. These communities are evidence that existence outside of what we know of development is not a far-off utopian dream, but a reality. I'll give you an example. In the colonial era, thousands of Africans were enslaved and forcibly transported to Brazil to be sold to sugarcane plantations to work until they died. There aren't words to fully describe what these people went through or what their descendants still go through today. But there are countries that have profited out of this atrocity. And nowadays, these countries, they're sitting very comfortably in the developed nations club. But these people, they weren't just passive victims. They fought against their captors, and they escaped. They persevered, and against all adversities, they began to form their own communities, called quilombos. The quilombolas, as they became known, rejected the model of development that denied them of their humanity, and began to build their own relationship with this land that had only been unkind to them. I'll bring you the words of a quilombola philosopher called Antônio Bispo dos Santos. He doesn't speak about development. He speaks about involvement. To him, development is a colonial word that turns nature into a resource. Involvement, on the other hand, is all about forming an organic connection with the earth and with each other. At COP29, I tried to live that involvement between conference rooms, overpriced cafeteria food of questionable quality, and too many cups, perhaps, of pomegranate juice. I connected with people from all around the world who were doing extraordinary work on the ground, fighting for justice for their communities. I saw the power of solidarity among youth who carry their roots proudly in their accents, in their clothes, and in their kindness. Even so that when the negotiators failed to deliver an ambitious result, the people I met kept me going. I'll leave you today with just one word: confluence. Bispo says that we must aim to be in confluence with one another. When two rivers meet, there is no domination, no loss of identity, no competition. They simply become something greater together. So the biggest lesson that I learned at COP29 was not about diplomacy. It was about community. Working with climate, things get heavy. In the face of anger and grief, being in confluence with others made me stronger. And the thing is, change is not waiting around for conferences or governments. Change is already here. Just look around. A few weeks ago, everything was gray and still, but now the flowers are blooming again. The snow is melting and the rivers are flowing. So I ask you, are you going to let the waters wash over you? Or are you going to step into the current and help shape the river for the better? Thank you.